Alright guys, another day of projects, and these projects are mostly electrical related, because I'm feeling really crowded by all the boxes I have around me right now. As you can see, I mounted my vacuum, so now that has like a permanent place. But anyway, I basically bought some LED strips. I found them, I was going to just get string lights again, but I found these in Walmart in like a sale section. Like they were marked down. Or maybe they weren't. Maybe I was just fooled because it was in one of those middle bins. But I decided to give these a try because I was walking through Walmart. I actually bought these while I was traveling back into the Bay Area. But I just needed to get back. I didn't really have time to install them. So now, while I'm doing all of my electronics projects, I'm going to install them. And basically what I have, this is from the inside of the box, I've already unboxed it, is you basically have a roll of lights. And then when you get to the end, you can connect another set. Ideally, I'd like to string them around sort of the perimeter of the van. You have little clips that you can clip them to. This goes on the end of your string, and then there is a USB outlet. Now eventually I'm going to get USB hooked up so that I can just run these directly on USB, but I don't have that capability right now. So I'm going to be using a regular old AC block, which also comes with it. I have multiple sets of lights. I will try to get the whole string to run to this piece of power, ideally. So yeah, we're gonna do that project, and hopefully then I'll have some lights, because last night I was mostly relying on a headlamp and my one light that's back there, which I'll talk about actually right now, because that's not the end of the lighting project. I'm all over the place right now, guys, trying to finish these projects. Is this the bag? Nope, that's not the bag. I think it's the one behind me. Yep, it's the one behind me. So the other thing is, like I said, Ken installed one of these lights over by the bedroom area. So now that I'm a little back further on the bed, as you can see, this is my new dressers. Woo, there we go, that's better. It's not better. Well, you see how dark it is back here? Let me make it lighter. Okay, that didn't really help. It looks way better in here than it does on your screen. But that's the one light that he installed for the bedroom area. Obviously, because the sun is out and stuff, it's not really doing much, but that's the light. Actually looks better with the light off. But that's the one light that's installed, and I'm putting a similar light over top the kitchen. This light is really bright. And I would only use this when I need to enhance the area right here. I also tend to sit on the corner of the bed when I'm working on the computer. Sometimes I use the countertop, sometimes I set up a little table in front of me. But either way, having like a dedicated light over this kitchen space will be awesome. In addition to the strip lights, which will just be my general lighting for like most of the time, especially when I'm just getting in the van. Maybe at some point I'll add a switch. These lights work by your phone, actually, which could be cool, because instead of coming into a dark van, you know, I can turn the lights on before I come in and kind of light it up inside. In a perfect world, I would just gut this whole van. And the reason I was saying that, not because there was anything wrong with Ken's build. In fact, once I finish what I'm doing, I'm going to talk a lot about what I liked about his build. But the thing is, much like me, Ken is not an, electrician. And so there's all these lights up here that only work when the car is running. So when the car is running, I can use these, but for like house mode, when the engine is off, they're pretty much useless. Now, a good electrician probably could rewire these so that they would also be useful when the van is off, but it's not an RV. It's a conversion passenger van. It's basically a bigger version of what my minivan was. And same thing in the minivan. I had a bunch of lights back there that were part of the car that I couldn't use when the car was off. And so I have these nice little lights that are pretty much useless. At least when I'm in the van. And so I just want to wire up something that's consistent throughout the van, that I can use when the van is in house mode, i.e. when the engine is off. All right, so this is the nightmare of the electrics project on my bed. I have tools out. I have all kinds of things out. And yes, I keep losing things. I'll go through what all this stuff is on the bed in a second. But my LED strips are up. Unfortunately, I had a defective one, so they only get about halfway over the window. But they track around here just fine, and then they get to here, and then there is the twin of the light that Ken installed and gave to me with the van. And so I have that set up over the kitchen. Then I have the wire running back. I really wish they weren't red and black. I wish there was a way to make them white. All right, and then that wire is going to track across here. And there probably is a way to make them prettier. I just don't know what it is. Hi, Superman. And then that goes all the way around there. See how weird that looks? It just cuts off there. So weird. I'll have to do something about that eventually. I'm just not sure when. Also because I'm trying to control how much more money I spend, and this will definitely light up the van the way it is right now. Okay. So first of all, I have this really cool fan that Chrome has in his van. He has praised this fan to death. It has all kinds of axes to rotate on. And this was given to me by one of our Patreon supporters and longtime subscriber, Dylan, sent this to me a while ago. And by the time I got it, I knew the minivan was on its way out and this might happen. It also might not have happened at that point. I didn't, it was kind of crazy to get this email and this offer that I didn't think was real. But anyway, I'm going to install this on the wall that has all the power. So it'll be right by the back door. By the way, my back windows pop out. They're little pop-out windows, as well as the two windows in my door, they pop out. And then there's also like a place where you can vent the front window. Also, the other two windows, the two big ones, the one behind the kitchen and the one behind the storage space, those are also ventable, but I can't really reach the vents because they're behind furniture. So they, you have that little slider screen you can do. So mostly I use the pop-out windows a lot, and then I'll roll down the front window when I'm cooking and trying to get fresh air in the van and stuff. But this should be super helpful, especially because I can pop out my rear windows, and this will be towards the rear. I also got this fan from a subscriber. This one is a 12-volt fan, and honestly, this thing is powerful as crap. I know I praised the USB fans before, but I think this one, it has it beat by a lot. So if you ever, I see these at truck stops all the time. Now the thing is, it's also very heavy, so I don't really have any walls I can mount it on like that. So I think I might just leave it as a sitting base fan and plug in the 12 volt when I need an extra fan going, because this thing is powerful. Like, I plugged it in today to the 12 volt outlet that Ken installed in the van, and I couldn't believe the air coming out of this thing. But it is wired, so it does have that limitation. And those little USB fans I talked about before are great when you're trying to beat a little bit of heat. But with me moving around the fan and doing stuff, having something a little bit more powerful is definitely useful. So this 12 volt fan is a beast, and I'm so glad it got sent to me. I also have another fan that I bought myself before these two fans arrived. Like, I didn't know I had two fans in progress. It's a larger fan. It runs on, it's not crazy large. It's not like a window fan. It runs on D batteries or a 110 outlet. And I bought that fan because, honestly, the little fans were not beating the heat anymore. Even having multiples of them. One of the ones I showed you broke before I even moved into this van. I still have the clip fan. I just don't have the little metal one anymore because that one just broke. It just wasn't worth it. I also don't have a roof vent, so I'm relying a lot on like standard fans. I don't know where I would put a roof vent, so I would not get one for myself right now at all. Also, because this is like, it's a passenger van, it has this fabric. I mean, there's places where I can feel where there's wood, but it has a constructed, basically, if you don't know how conversion vans work, conversion vans are passenger vans. They're meant for family trips. And usually the back seat like folds down into a bed and it has a few more luxury features. But basically what they did was they took the core of a Chevy Express cargo van and then outfitted it as sort of a big brother type to what we know as the minivan, where it has a couple of features. It might have like really cool stuff. There's a really cool party light in one of these windows, but it only works when the car is running. So yeah, and that's basically what a conversion van is. But when you begin to outfit those as camper vans, the problem is a lot of the cool stuff, like these inset lights, are powered off of the car running. And so once you try to camperize it, you can either pull this stuff out or rewire it or just leave it there and add your own lighting. And that's basically what I'm doing, because I don't have the time to gut a van, and why not just build on what Ken already has here, which makes far more sense than trying to pull it all apart, especially on the timeline I have and the fact I have to live in it while I'm doing whatever I'm doing. And so when you have to live in something immediately, you have to work around you have to work around things in a different way, because you're trying to accomplish things on a quicker timeline because you need it to be a house tomorrow. Now, if you have the time and you live in a house, don't rush yourself. Like, I would have loved not to rush these last couple of days, but I really do need to get things together and get the minivan prepped for its new owner, which is still not. It still needs some cleaning, but I want to finish this stuff up. So I'll check in kind of after it's done and just show you what I did, because right now it's way too hard to do a show what I do type thing, and so I'm going to have to do a talk through it after I do it type thing. I apologize. See you in a few. So my final electrics project of the day was a water pump. I found this stuff called Dawn Power Wash. Dawn Power Wash. And the great thing is you can just kind of spray down the dishes, wipe them, and then rinse them off, which reduces the amount of water that you use. But because the faucet doesn't work, I'm basically still using the spray bottle from my minivan that I use to wash dishes. It's kind of annoying, though, because there's a giant sink there whose faucet I basically can't use until I get the water pump hooked up. So my final electrics project of the day was going to be hooking up the water pump so that I didn't have to do the spray bottle anymore. So let's talk through a little water pump test we're going to do out here. So here is the water pump that Ken sent me. And I had to do a lot of figuring. I knew like one side was the pull and the other one was the push, to push it up to the faucet level. But I didn't know which side was. One side has like a little arrow on it. I think that's for the faucet, but I'm honestly not sure. So obviously you have your normal red and black, which terminated here. Now the black line's pretty simple. I just extended the black line to something that can connect to the fuse box. The red line, according to my research, needs to go to a switch. So I got this little push switch from Home Depot. And then if you keep going down the red line, obviously, sorry guys, this is so hard to do solo. Find it. Ha, there it is.